Brentford are finally a Premier League club. They secured promotion at the 10th time of asking in the Championship playoffs last Saturday after a 2-0 win over Swansea City. I feel they deserve a look at right here, right now on Football Manager 21. My question to you is, can you replicate their success this season and even take them to greater heights in the Premier League? My name is Craig and welcome to the Brentford FC Club Guide. So we kick things off on the main summary page where I've just taken over at Brentford Football Club for the first time. So in this video we're going to be going through things such as the club's finances and their budgets already on offer, the squad, the team reports, the tactics that you could use for this squad, the youth squad, especially if the club culture dictates that you have to use it, I don't know yet, and also any staff you may have or need to bring in to this club. Before we continue on though, may I just ask that you hit the like button down below and click subscribe by smashing the big red button down below. It will just help me out in this video and my channel in YouTube's crazy algorithm. We start things on the club info page, the basic information of course for Brentford. So as we can see on the screen, they are a 3-star national reputation side, which is easily going to be one of the best in the Championship. And as we can see, over the past 20 years, Brentford are a side who have floated between League 1 and League 2 for about half of that time, before finally, in the last few seasons, becoming an established Championship outfit. Of course, as we know, in real life, that has now changed. They will be a Premier League outfit next season. Thank goodness, at the 10th time of asking through the playoffs. Just some quick info on Brentford themselves. They are affectionately known as the Bees, much like Barnet Football Club, who we did a club guide for earlier, I think about a couple of weeks ago. The playlist itself will just be floating above my head. That will include Barnet, Villarreal, Chelsea, Leeds and Bolton for club guides, just in case you're interested in them, as well as Brentford. The options are endless with FM21. But just back to Brentford here, they've got secure finances, we'll come to those in a little bit, as well as a few legends and a ton of icons. Certain icons such as Martin Allen, who managed Brentford a good 15 years ago, Marcus Gale, who played for them, Ollie Watkins only played for Brentford up till last summer before leaving for Aston Villa for a stonking £28 million. That's certainly been a worthwhile fee for Brentford. They've clearly invested well. And as far as rivalries go, QPR and Fulham, of course, West London rivals. I'm surprised Chelsea aren't on here, but I'm guessing now that Brentford are in the Premier League next season, this will probably change for FM22. On to the club vision now, and this is exactly what the board will be demanding from you from your first season in the club. So as far as club culture goes, play attacking football, play possession football, do not sign players over the age of 29, that's very generous. Sign players from the low levels of the domestic game, that has been Brentford's staple model effectively for the last few years. For example, Ivan Toney, their main striker, he was signed from Peterborough in League 1, and that is something Brentford do basically on a very regular basis. They are the Championship version of Peterborough from League 1 and play entertaining football. All very promising. You can easily do that sort of football with this squad, I believe, which we will come to in a little bit. Work within the wage budget is a standard for every club. And as far as the current season goes, the board are expecting you to reach the playoffs as a minimum. That's fine, you're more than able to do that clearly with this squad. The FA Cup reached the 4th round and the Carabao Cup reached the 3rd round, assuming you don't get anyone very, very difficult in the 1st or 2nd rounds. And eventually they expect you to win promotion to the Premier League at the end of next season. Chances are you could probably do this in your first season, so I won't worry too much about that at the moment. On to the finances now, and there is some money at Brentford floating around, 21.7 million in the bank, a transfer budget of £3 million, and next season's will be a guaranteed 4.73. Again, if you're promoted to the Premier League, expect that to be bumped up a lot. And your wage budget, you are currently under it by about £10,000, I believe. We quickly check the scouting. Yeah, about £10,000 in the wage budget. That's a good chunk of wage budget for you to use. Not many players are going to be on 10,000 probably in the Championship. Maybe. Get your bargain hats on. And just to confirm, projection wise for your finances, you are expected to lose a lot of money, but again, get promoted to the Premier League, you won't have to worry about money ever again. Onto the squad now, and we just filtered quickly by current ability, and by the looks of it, Brentford have a very, very well balanced squad. 3.5-star players all the way down to 2.5 stars. Of course, that's only indicative of your current squad, but it seems to be fairly well balanced in terms of actual ability. In terms of age, it's a fairly experienced squad. There's some young players in here, as young as 20, as well as a few experienced hands, the likes of Dalsgaard, Winston Reid on loan from West Ham, and Luke Daniels in their 30s. But otherwise, it's a squad that you could actually build around. It's got ability, it's got experience, it's got potential as well. In terms of going back to the ability, best players at the club, the likes of Ethan Pinnock, Pontus Jansson, who has been at the club for a very long time, I believe. No, he hasn't. I'm pretty sure he'd been here before for a while. I'm very much mistaken. He only arrived at the beginning of the 2019-20 season for £4.5 million from Leeds United. He's been at Leeds, that's why. So he's been in the English game for a while. That kind of makes sense. But he's your captain, and he's certainly going to be a very, very important player for you. A very experienced player as well at this level. I mentioned previously Ivan Toney, a 24-year-old English striker. He is also one of your better players at 3.5 stars. Just bought from Peterborough, as mentioned, £6.5 million. That's quite expensive. But then I suppose Brentford, they have the bit of the money to spend in order to try and get into the Premier League. So you can see the calibre of players that you're actually not only looking to bring in, but also the kind of players that you're actually dealing with as well. In terms of potential in the side, there's a few 5-star potential players. The likes of Brian Buemo, apologies for butchering that name, 20-year-old French attacking winger or striker as well, whichever way you wish to play him. By the looks of it, he looks to be a future player for Brentford who can play in the first team now. £3.6 million he arrived for in 2019 from Troyes in France. He also has that Premier League potential as well. Overall, very solid squad. Fairly young but experienced. It's got that right little blend, and that is something you will really want to rely on and exploit as the season goes on. On to the tactics now, and this is the sort of club I could easily get used to. According to my assistant manager, Brentford's players can play a mixture of either a gegenpress, a tiki-taka, or wing play style in terms of tactics. For anyone looking to play high tempo or very attacking football, this may be the squad for you, and I'm very, very happy about that. As far as formations go, it's pretty standard 4-2-3-1 for the gegenpress, and more than likely 4-3-3 is something that would favour Brentford very, very well. Remember what the board are asking for: possession football, attacking football, and just generally entertaining football, which is certainly something that can be provided by a gegenpress. But if you're going to go with a gegenpress, remember your players have to have that high work rate, and it's always worth checking this out for any players that you wish to bring in the future. And if we're going to assume that you're going to be using a gegenpress, I mean a lot of people tend to do. To be honest with you, in FM21, this is the team report, and we can just have a look at the depth that Brentford indeed have when it comes to their players for this system. So in fact, if we just filter this down to 3-star players, Brentford have quite a lot in terms of attacking quality, and even in the centre of midfield. However, the fullback positions leave a lot to be desired. You might wish to target these areas, as well as in goal as well. Try and get a bit more quality in depth for these areas, unless you just want to play 3 at the back, in which case go for it. But if you're like me and you prefer to play your 4 at the back and also have a competent goalkeeper in there, it might be worth scouting the transfer market for these as soon as possible. On to the staff now, and for championship quality staff, not too bad in the coaching department, even though you do currently have space for a head of youth and also 1, 2, 3 and 4 coaches, so fill out these slots as soon as you can. And if you fill them out with good quality as well, your coaching team comparison to the rest of the championship is easily going to be the best in the league. The same for your scouts as well. You've got room for a technical director and a recruitment analyst, so you could easily get the best recruitment team comparison in the division as well. Rinse and repeat for the medical team as well. I believe this will be for physios, or a head physio and a physio. Definitely some improvements to be made, but bring in the right quality, and this staff comparison page will easily be the best in the championship. And finally, we come to the development centre. Now, it's actually not a requirement for Brentford, amazingly enough, to not actually use the youth setup they currently have, mainly because they're focused on bringing in players from the lower leagues. But in terms of quality that you already have in the youth teams, there's quite a few potential players, good potential players, that you may want to consider bringing up to the first team. And you've already got some first team candidates here. Mads Bistrup, a 4.5-star potential central and defensive midfielder as well. He may not jump out straight away, but 2-star current ability, again 4.5-star potential. He is currently only at Vanarama national level, but he has that potential to be a Premier League player in the future. I believe he's only just arrived, yes he has, and he is 19 years old, so it may be worth keeping him at the club for a year and then send him out on a loan spell to get him that development time going forward. And who knows, he could come back, he might be ready for Premier League football on his return. Another good young player, Alex Gilbert, as well as Aaron Presley. Alex Gilbert, an 18-year-old winger, Aaron Presley, a 18-year-old striker. And I believe they've been here a while. In Presley's case, he's been here since 2019. Again, potentially give him a loan spell out as well. Alex Gilbert, he's only just arrived on a free from West Brom. Again, same situation as Madstrup. Give him a year to get used to the club and then send him out and just give him that development time. I believe he has Premier League. No, he doesn't. He does not have Premier League potential, but at Sky Bet Championship level, he could still make it as a Premier League player in the future. It's not completely out of the question, but he is someone possibly to consider giving a little bit of time to. In terms of first team squad, according to your development centre, Luka Racic, 4-star potential ability, but he's currently 2.5-star current ability. He is currently a wanted player on loan, but he's pretty much almost as good as some of your worst first team squad players. And for a centre-back who is 6'2", he's going to be someone you might want to consider bringing into the first team squad and potentially giving game time to, even if it's just in the cups. He's been at Brentford for a little while now, since 2018. Either send him out on loan in my recommendation, or bring him into that first team squad and give him that game time. And that is it for the Brentford FC club guide. I hope that gave you the inspiration and motivation to help repeat the success of Brentford this season, as well as take them to even higher achievements in the future in the Premier League, and maybe even in Europe as well. You've got the youth setup, you've got the squads to get you started, and for potentially great players in the future. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit the like button back down below and click subscribe by smashing the big red subscribe button down below. Thank you all so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.